For this pro bike, we're checking out Canadian racer Emily Batty's Top Fuel Team Issue. Now this is a really cool little bike. So at the heart of Emily Batty's race bike, of course, there's a very small frame. Emily herself, she's around 5'2", and this is a 15.5-inch frame, so that's a size small Trek. And of course, it's the Top Fuel, and this is the Team Issue. But this particular one is a little bit different to the production ones available. So out back, it's a non-boost setup. So a lot more of the modern bikes have got boost rear ends on. This one hasn't. And as you may have noticed, the rocker linkage here is slightly different to what you see in the production bikes, and that is because it's got a metric shock in here. So they had to completely redesign the linkage in order to accommodate that. Now, due to this, Emily's yet to decide on her suspension settings to get it finalised on how she likes things. But one thing that you will note is that it's got a little slave unit on here with a cable that runs all the way to the bars to this brand new Rockshox lockout unit, which is based around a grip shift. So we've seen EWS star Jerome Clements using a regular grip shift left-hand shifter for a lockout thing in the past. So it's actually quite cool now that Rockshox have developed this into a bona fide product. So this works with the fork and the shock on Emily's bike. Very cool. And of course, this is Trek's famous OCLV carbon frame. So it's a very, very light bike. Up front on Emily's bike is the cockpit where she controls her race bike from. So it's running a 100mm stem with a 17-degree negative rise on there. The bars are virtually flat, they've got 5-degree rake, and they're 660mm wide. So it's quite short by today's standards, but obviously reflected in Emily's build. Handlebar grip wise, she's gone for foam grips like a lot of the cross-country riders are. Enables them to get a really thin grip but still maintain that comfort, and of course they're very light as well. Braking is done by SRAM level ultimate brakes. She's got 160mm rotor on the front, and like the other Trek riders, she's got the tiny little 140 out back. You might notice on Emily's race bike, she's running 27.5-inch wheels as opposed to 29s, which she has done in the past. It's what just feels natural to her. Tyres are Bontragers, but she does chop and change the tyre choices depending on what the circuit sort of dictates. And the wheels are the Bontrager Kovee XXX carbon fibre and a 33mm external width. Of course, the setup tubeless with Bontrager tyre sealant inside. And suspension duties up front are done by the Rockshox Sid fork. Emily's not running any volume spacers in there. It's just a nice plush setting at 100mm of travel. As with all the other Trek team riders, they've all swapped over to Rockshox and SRAM setup. So they're running a SRAM Eagle transmission with 12 speed. Out back, of course, is the famous cassette with a tiny little 10 tooth and the huge dinner plate 50 tooth that absolutely dwarfs that little 140mm rotor on the back there. Up front, she's running the carbon cranks at 170mm with a 34 tooth chainring. She's got some serious leg power going on. And then of course there's a nice little MRP upper chain guide on there. Although you don't always need it with the SRAM narrow wide technology, it's just a little extra protection just in case. And pedals, just like Anton's bike, she's chosen to go for the XTR race pedal. Obviously pedal is such a personal preference thing, and that's what suits Emily so well. So finishing touches on Emily's bike include the Bontrager XXX carbon fibre seat post and the Montrose Pro saddle. And like the other riders, like Anton's bike, she's got a central mark on the middle of her saddle, so it does mean that the bike can be pinpoint set up exactly how she needs to. Of course, you might notice that the saddle's very far forwards. That is just the preference of Emily, the way she likes to ride the bike. Top cap, there's a nice little Canadian maple leaf on there just to remind her where home is and just to inspire her when she's out racing. If you want to know how much it weighs, roughly 10.8 kilos, and that's 22 pounds and 5 ounce, give or take. And if you want to know what the noise sounds like in this nice rear hub, here we go. Again, pretty stealthy, not one of the louder ones. So there we go, that was Emily Batty's Top Fuel Team Issue Trek Pro Race Bike. If you want to see some more really cool pro bikes, click down the bottom there. And if you want to see what we're all about, our presenter videos, find out who we are, click down here to see the first one in that series. That is all about Neil Donoghue and where he came from and what he's all about. As always, click on the globe to subscribe because we've got new content for you guys every single week. And if you like Emily's bike, give us a thumbs up.